Hello students, your piano teacher Tim here with another Tuesday tip, and today I have one of the best tips I've ever given out on the channel that I wanted to make a Tuesday tip for. Let me show you. Okay, so when you're first reading music, you're going to use the lines and spaces technique, memorizing, what the lines and spaces are. So F, it spells face, F-A-C-E. So you probably know about that already. If not, go check out some of the other lessons I have on the channel on reading music. You can find them from the main page. I'm going to try to remember to put a link in the description for you, though, if you don't know how to read music. But how do you read music much faster? Well, that's what we're going to get into. Okay, so when you're reading note by note, when you have a lot of them right in a row, that is not a note. That is a rest. Here we go. By the way, everybody's going to ask me what this program's called. It's called Staff Pad. But anyway, when you have a bunch of notes together, you can either read the notes individually, like, okay, that's F. Here, let me get the piano in here. Okay, that's F. Okay, that's G. Okay, that's A. Okay, that's B. That takes too long. I mean, it's a pretty simple pattern of notes, so you might be able to do it quickly. But it gets more and more complicated, especially say you have really complicated chords and things like that. Just throwing this out here for an example. Did it again. Okay, say you have a more complex chord. Now you can read them individually. G, B, C, E. And if you have one chord, it's fine. But when you're reading a ton of notes in a piece all together, you're going to need to do this lickety split, and this is how you do it. Okay, so here you want to learn about intervals, which is the distance between two notes. So if you have a note, say you have C, and then you have the next note, that's the second. They are 1, 2 notes apart. Then say you have from C to E, that's a third. So anytime on the piano, when you have a note, you skip a note, you have another note, they're evenly stacked like that. Those are stacks of thirds. Obviously, you go out one more, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8th. Question, leave in the comments if you know. What is the other name for an 8th? Well, an octave, right? Because the base of the word is oct, meaning 8. Okay, so before we read this chord, let me show you something really quick. So on the staff, you're going to notice that intervals will look like this. So a second, all seconds, no matter whether it starts on a line or space, are clustered together side by side. And that's because they are so close together that they have to do that or else they'll run together. Now a third looks like the beginning of a snowman. And it doesn't matter where this appears on the staff, even whether it's treble clef or bass clef. Those are all thirds. Those are all thirds, no matter what. Okay, now a fourth is just a little bit bigger than that. There's a little bit of a space there towards or in the middle there. And again, it doesn't matter where on the staff it is. And then a fifth, notice how you have a line, you don't have a line, and then you have a line again. That is always a fifth when you see that, very evenly spaced. So again, what do you think I'm going to say? It doesn't matter where on the staff it appears. It's always going to be a fifth. Sixth is a little bit bigger than that. Seventh, and then octave. I think you get the idea. So you want to practice your intervals, identifying them. I'm going to put a link in the description for you so you can practice these because you need to be able to identify them by sight. And the whole idea of this, by the way, is instead of reading the notes separately, I know this example is too simple, really. We're going to use that chord I wrote in a second. Instead of reading this notes A, B, I can just read the bottom note and just know that the next note up is a second. One thing I want to point out is all even number intervals don't match, meaning 2, 4, 6, and 8. And what I also mean by that is that if the bottom note is a space, the top note is going to be a line. If the bottom note is a line, the top note is going to be a space. And like I said, it's true for seconds, fourths, sixths, and octaves. Now, what if they do match? Well, those are all odd intervals. 3, 5, 7, and then 9. You're probably not going to be reading a whole lot of ninths. But I would say you should be able to read up to an octave at the very least. Back to this chord. How are we going to read this chord, do you think? Well, read the bottom note G, And then we have from line to line, so that's an odd number interval. Because it's the next line up, that's a third. Then you got a second, and then another third. And of course, you want to get so fast at this that it really just kind of comes to you right away. It takes practice, just like reading notes do at first. Like where you're not going to just want to learn how to read music in a day and then move on from there. You're going to want to go back, practice it week by week, month by month, until you really, really, really have it down. Let's do one more example. So here we have 3 notes. Now it's on bass clef. So does anything I say, does it change at all? No, because all the intervals are the same. You're going to read the bottom note. You know that that's A, at least hopefully you do. And then the next note up, how far apart is that? Well, it's evenly stacked and they are space to space. So that's a third. And then the next one is a fifth because you have a space, no space, and then another space. So that's always a fifth, of course. So even though it's not the best sounding chord in the world, you will be able to read music much, much faster using these intervals. If you want to learn more about reading music and playing piano, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you turn that notification bell on because I have new lessons coming out all the time. Obviously, I have the Tuesday tip coming out on Tuesday, obviously. And then we also have the Fridays and Sundays live streams, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, by the way. Would love if you could come out. And then I have new lessons coming out Saturdays and Sunday mornings at around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like I said, you need to be subscribed for that. But I want to show you something also that you would be interested in. If you're interested in learning more about how to read music really fast using intervals or clusters, which is even a higher level technique, check out this playlist right here. You're going to love it. So thanks for coming by for today's lesson. It's been your piano teacher, Tim, here, and I'll see you in the next one.